You believe you are fragile because you have been broken before. But I tell you this, what you call breaking, I call becoming. The seed must split to become the tree. The rock must crack for the water to flow through. You were never meant to remain whole in the way you imagine wholeness. You were meant to be opened. And in that opening, I placed something the world cannot touch, cannot steal, cannot destroy. Today, I will show you what has always been unbreakable within you, even when everything around you fell apart. You are here because something or someone has convinced you that you are fragile. That life has the power to break you permanently. That one more loss, one more betrayal, one more failure will be the one you cannot survive. And so you live in constant fear of the next blow, building defenses, rehearsing worst-case scenarios, protecting a version of yourself that you believe is one crack away from total collapse. You wake up every morning wondering if today is the day everything falls apart. You look at your life and you see all the places where you have been hurt, all the moments where you fell, all the people who walked away, and you think to yourself, I am barely holding on. One more thing and I will shatter completely. But here is the truth no one has told you. You are not breakable. You are transformable. The pain you fear is not designed to destroy you. It is designed to reveal what cannot be destroyed within you. The world has taught you that survival means avoiding suffering. I am teaching you that resurrection means walking through it and discovering that what you thought was your foundation, your reputation, your relationships, your plans, was never meant to hold you. I am your foundation, and I do not crack. This teaching will dismantle the lie that your value, your identity, and your future are tied to what the world can give or take away. You will learn why the very thing you call breaking is actually the mechanism of your spiritual strengthening. How the people and circumstances that hurt you have no authority over who you are in me. The difference between being damaged and being refined. Why your feelings of fragility are not evidence of weakness. They are evidence of humanity trying to carry a burden only divinity can bear. This is not a self-help strategy. This is a divine revelation. The world offers you armor. I offer you resurrection. The world offers you control. I offer you surrender. The world offers you protection. I offer you transformation. By the end of this teaching, you will not simply feel better. You will see differently. You will understand that nothing and nobody can break you because you were never held together by them in the first place. You are held by the one who spoke galaxies into existence. And what I hold, no force in hell or earth can shatter. So let me begin by showing you something most people never see. Something hidden in plain sight that will change everything you think you know about strength, about survival, about what it means to be unbreakable. I once walked through a village where a master potter worked. His hands were scarred, his apron covered in dust, and before him sat two vessels. One was smooth, polished, uncracked, beautiful to the eye. The other had been shattered and pieced back together, its seams visible, its shape irregular. Now, a wealthy man approached and pointed to the perfect vessel. I will pay handsomely for that one, he said. The potter shook his head. That one has never been tested, he replied. It may look whole, but I do not know if it will hold water under pressure. It has never been filled, never been used, never been trusted with anything valuable. Then he lifted the broken vessel, the one that had been shattered and remade. This one, he said, I have filled 100 times. I have dropped it, and it did not break again. I have poured boiling water into it, and it did not crack. It has been through fire, through failure, through the worst I could give it. And now, it holds more than it ever could before. The cracks you see are not weakness. They are proof of capacity. The wealthy man walked away, confused, but I leaned close to the potter and said, You know my work. He smiled. Yes, Lord. I learned it from you. This is what you do not yet understand. The world values what appears unbroken. I value what has been remade. You think the cracks in your life disqualify you. I see them as the very places where my light shines through. You are not ruined. You are refined. You are not weak. You are weight-tested. And every time you were shattered, I gathered every piece, and I made you capable of holding more. More grace, more truth, more love, more of me. You see, When you were whole in the way the world defines wholeness, you could only hold so much. You could only understand so much. You could only love so much. You could only trust so much. But when you broke, when the vessel cracked, when everything you thought was solid gave way, something happened that you did not expect. You became capable of holding more than you ever thought possible. More compassion because you have suffered. More wisdom because you have fallen. More faith because you have doubted. More love because you have been wounded. The cracks are not your weakness. They are your capacity. They are the proof that you have been tested and you are still here. They are the evidence that I did not let you stay broken. I remade you, and in that remaking, I made you stronger than you were before. Not stronger in the way the world measures strength, by how much you can control or how much you can avoid pain, but stronger in the way I measure strength, by how much you can hold, how much you can endure, how much you can trust when everything around you is falling apart. And here is the part that will undo everything you thought you knew about your breaking. It is not just that you survive it. It is why it had to happen at all. And the answer is this. You were holding on to a version of yourself that was too small. A version built on what others expected, what the world demanded, what fear dictated. And I loved you too much to let you stay there. So I allowed the breaking, not to destroy you, but to free you. Every false foundation had to crumble so the true one could be laid. Every counterfeit identity had to fall away so the real one could emerge. Every illusion of control had to shatter so you could finally see. I was always in control, and now, as you look at the ruins of what you thought your life was supposed to be, I am standing in the center of it all saying, trust me, I am making something better, something eternal, something unshakable. You are not broken beyond repair. You are under renovation by the master builder, and what I am building in you cannot be shaken by circumstances, cannot be stolen by people, cannot be destroyed by loss, because it is not built on you. It is built on me, but there is something deeper you must understand, something that most people miss entirely, and it has to do with storms. There was a man who built his house beside the sea. He loved the water, but he feared the storms. So he reinforced every wall, sealed every window, and stocked provisions for months. He told himself, I will be ready. I will not be caught off guard. One night, the wind came. Not the storm he had prepared for, but something far greater. The waves rose higher than his walls. The wind tore through his fortifications, and in the chaos, he realized all his preparation had been based on controlling what he could never control. In desperation, he cried out, not to his own strength, but to me, and I spoke into the storm, be still. The wind obeyed, the waves fell, and the man, trembling and soaked, looked at his broken walls and said, I thought my strength was in what I built. I answered, your strength was never in what you built. It was in knowing when to call my name. Here is the revelation you are avoiding. You have been trying to become unbreakable by your own power. You have been building walls of control, of perfectionism, of self-reliance, of bitterness, of isolation, and you call it protection. But I call it prison, because the moment you stop trying to hold yourself together and instead let me hold you, you discover the truth. You were never meant to be your own savior. The storm will come, the betrayal will happen, the loss will arrive. And if you are trusting in your ability to withstand it alone, you will break. But if you are trusting in me, if you have learned to cry out, to surrender, to release control, then the storm will still rage, but you will still stand. Not because you were strong enough, because I am. And this is where most people misunderstand everything. They think the goal is to avoid the storm, but I am telling you, the storm is not your enemy. There is something the storm reveals that comfort never could, and once you see it, you will never fear breaking again. What does the storm reveal? It reveals what you are truly standing on. When everything is calm, when life is easy, when relationships are smooth and finances are stable and health is good, you can convince yourself that you are standing on solid ground. You can believe that your strength comes from your circumstances, from your abilities, from the people around you. But when the storm comes, When everything you thought was solid starts to shake, you discover the truth. You discover what was real and what was illusion. You discover what can be taken and what cannot be touched. And here is what I want you to see. Every time you have been broken, every time you have been shattered, every time you thought you would not survive, you discovered that underneath all the things that could be taken away, there was something that could not be taken. Something that remained when everything else fell apart. And that something is me. I am the foundation that does not move. I am the ground that does not give way. I am the rock that does not crumble. And as long as you are standing on me, nothing can break you. Not permanently, not beyond repair, not beyond redemption. The storm does not come to destroy you. It comes to show you what you are really standing on. And if you discover that you have been standing on sand, on circumstances, on people, on your own strength, then yes, you will fall. But falling is not the end. Falling is the invitation to rebuild on the right foundation. Falling is the moment when you finally stop trusting in what can be shaken and you start trusting in what cannot be moved. Let me show you what I mean. Let me show you the lie you have been believing and the truth that will set you free. You confuse breaking with failing. Let me show you the lie you have believed, that if something painful happens to you, it means you did something wrong. If you are betrayed, you chose poorly. If you are abandoned, you are not enough. If you suffer, you are being punished. This is not truth. This is accusation. And it does not come from me. Pain is not evidence of failure. Pain is evidence of being alive in a broken world. I did not promise you a life without suffering. I promised you a life where suffering does not have the final word. You are not broken because you hurt. You are human because you hurt. And I did not come to make you less human. I came to make you fully alive. The world teaches you to avoid pain at all costs. I teach you to walk through pain with me at your side, because on the other side of what you fear most, you will find what you have been searching for all along. The unshakable knowledge that you are held by something greater than your circumstances. Here is the paradox. You think strength is never falling. I say strength is rising every time you fall. You think faith is never doubting. I say faith is crying out even when you doubt. You think love is never being hurt. I say love is choosing trust even after betrayal. You have been measuring your worth by your ability to avoid breaking. I measure your worth by the fact that you are mine. Do you see the difference? The world says you are strong when nothing can hurt you. I say you are strong when you have been hurt and you still trust. The world says you are faithful when you never question. I say you are faithful when you question and still come back to me. The world says you are whole when nothing is broken. I say you are whole because I have made you whole, regardless of what has been broken around you. You have been living under a false definition of strength. You have been thinking that being unbreakable means nothing touches you, nothing hurts you, nothing gets through your defenses. But that is not strength. That is numbness. That is isolation. That is death. True strength is not avoiding the blow. True strength is taking the blow and discovering that it did not destroy you. True strength is being wounded and still choosing to love. True strength is falling and still choosing to rise. True strength is breaking and discovering that even in pieces, you are held. And this is why I can say to you with absolute certainty, nothing and nobody will ever break you again. Not because you will never be hurt, not because you will never fall, not because life will suddenly become easy, but because you are finally learning the truth. You were never holding yourself together in the first place. I was, and I do not let go. Now listen closely because this next part is critical. The people who hurt you have no power over your identity. The one who betrayed you does not get to define you. The one who abandoned you does not get to name you. The one who rejected you does not get to write your story. You have been carrying their words as if they were truth. You have been believing their judgment as if it were my judgment. And you have been living as if their absence means you are not worthy of presence. But I am telling you now, their opinion of you is not my opinion of you. Their rejection of you is not my rejection of you. Their failure to see your value does not mean you have no value. I see you. I know you. I chose you. And nothing they did or failed to do changes that. You are trying to earn back what was never theirs to take. You are trying to prove yourself to people who were never qualified to judge you, and in doing so, you have given them authority over your peace, over your confidence, over your sense of worth. I am taking that authority back, not because they do not matter, but because they are not God, and only God gets to say who you are. Here is the hard truth. Some people will misunderstand you, some will betray you, some will walk away, and none of it will change the fact that you are loved, you are chosen, and you are held. Their leaving does not mean you are not enough. It means they were not ready for what I am doing in you. You see, when I am refining you, when I am stripping away everything that is not of me, when I am purifying you and preparing you for what is next, not everyone will understand. Not everyone will stay. Not everyone will see what I see. And their inability to see does not mean there is nothing to see. It means their vision is limited. It means they are looking with human eyes instead of spiritual eyes. It means they are measuring you by the world's standards instead of mine. And so they walk away. They reject what they do not understand. They abandon what they cannot control. They betray what threatens their own illusions. And you take their leaving as evidence that you are broken, that you are unworthy, that you are too much or not enough. But I am telling you, their leaving is evidence of nothing except their own limitations. It says nothing about you and everything about where they are. You are not responsible for their blindness. You are not responsible for their fear. You are not responsible for their inability to see what I am doing in you. You are only responsible for one thing: trusting me, trusting that I see what they cannot see, trusting that I am working even when it looks like everything is falling apart, trusting that their rejection is not my rejection and their absence is not my absence. Because here is what you need to know. I have never left, not once, not ever, not when you were betrayed, not when you were abandoned, not when you fell, not when you failed, not when you doubted, not when you sinned, not when you ran. I was there. I am here. I will always be here. And nothing, no person, no circumstance, no failure, no sin can separate you from my love. This is the truth that will set you free. You are not defined by who stays or who goes. You are defined by whose you are. And you are mine, forever, irrevocably, eternally, mine. And what is mine, I do not lose. I do not abandon. I do not reject. I hold. I keep. I protect. I redeem. So stop giving people power they were never meant to have. Stop letting their words define your worth. Stop letting their actions determine your value. Stop letting their presence or absence dictate your peace. You are not held together by them. You are held together by me. And I do not waver. I do not change my mind. I do not walk away. Now let me show you something that will completely transform how you see your own strength. Surrender is not weakness. It is the only true strength. You think surrendering to me means giving up, but I am showing you. Surrendering to me means giving over the need to control, giving over the fear of the future, giving over the burden of holding yourself together. You were never designed to be your own source of strength. You were designed to draw from mine. And every time you try to carry what only I can carry, you exhaust yourself. You deplete yourself. You break yourself. You are not failing when you cannot do it alone. You are finally learning the truth. You were never meant to. The world calls this weakness. I call this wisdom. The world calls this defeat. I call this trust. The world calls this giving up. I call this waking up. Because when you stop striving and start surrendering, when you stop performing and start resting, when you stop defending and start trusting, that is when you become unbreakable. Not because nothing can hurt you, but because you are no longer holding yourself together by your own power. I am. Think about this. Every moment of your life that you have spent trying to control outcomes, trying to manage perceptions, trying to protect yourself from pain, trying to prove your worth, you have been operating from fear. You have been acting as if everything depends on you, as if your safety is your responsibility, as if your worth is determined by your performance, as if your future is in your hands, and that burden is crushing you. It has always been crushing you, because you were never meant to carry it. I am not asking you to try harder. I am asking you to let go. I am not asking you to be stronger. I am asking you to lean on my strength. I am not asking you to figure it all out. I am asking you to trust that I already have. This is surrender, and it is not weakness. It is the only way to true strength, because when you are operating in your own strength, you are limited by your own capacity. You can only handle so much. You can only endure so much. You can only carry so much. But when you surrender to me, when you let me be your strength, there is no limit. There is no end to what you can endure, because you are not enduring it alone. There is no weight too heavy because you are not carrying it alone. There is no storm too fierce because you are not standing against it alone. I am with you. I am in you. I am holding you, and that changes everything. So stop fighting to prove you are strong. Stop pretending you have it all together. Stop carrying what I never asked you to carry. Let me be your strength. Let me be defender. Let me be the one who holds you when everything else falls apart. Because I do not break. I do not fail. I do not abandon. And you are mine. Here is the invitation I am extending to you right now in this moment. Stop. Stop striving. Stop performing. Stop defending. Stop managing. Stop controlling. Just stop. And in that stopping, in that stillness, in that surrender, you will feel something you have not felt in a very long time. You will feel held. You will feel safe. Not because circumstances have changed, not because people have proven themselves, not because you have finally figured it all out, but because you have finally let me do what I have been trying to do all along. Hold you. And when you feel that, when you experience that, when you know that, everything changes. The fear loses its grip. The anxiety loses its power. The need to control loses its urgency, because you realize, I am held. I am safe. I am loved. Not because of what I do. Not because of who I am. Not because of how well I perform. But because I am his, and he does not let go. This is what it means to be unbreakable. It is not that nothing can touch you. It is that when everything touches you, when everything falls apart, when everything is taken away, there is still something that remains. And that something is me. I remain. I am the constant in the chaos. I am the stillness in the storm. I am the foundation that does not move. And as long as you are standing on me, you cannot be broken. Not in any way that matters, not in any way that lasts. Now let me tell you something that will completely reframe how you see every moment of pain you have ever experienced. Your breaking was never your ending. It was your becoming. Here is what the enemy wants you to believe. That the moment you broke was the moment you lost everything. But I am telling you the opposite. The moment you broke was the moment I could finally rebuild you the way you were always meant to be. You were holding on to a version of yourself that was too small. A version built on what others expected, what the world demanded, what fear dictated, and I loved you too much to let you stay there. So I allowed the breaking, not to destroy you but to free you. Every false foundation had to crumble so the true one could be laid. Every counterfeit identity had to fall away so the real one could emerge. Every illusion of control had to shatter so you could finally see. I was always in control, and now, as you look at the ruins of what you thought your life was supposed to be, I am standing in the center of it all saying, trust me, I am making something better, something eternal, something unshakable. You are not broken beyond repair. You are under renovation by the master builder. Think about what happens when a building is renovated. The old structure has to be torn down, walls have to come down, floors have to be ripped up, systems have to be gutted, and in the middle of the renovation, it looks like destruction. It looks like chaos. It looks like everything is falling apart. But the builder knows, this is not destruction. This is preparation. I am clearing away what is old and broken and insufficient so I can build something new, something stronger, something better. This is what I am doing in your life. The breaking you experienced was not destruction. It was demolition. I was clearing away everything that was not built on me, Everything that was built on human approval, on worldly success, on temporary security, on false identity. And yes, it hurt. Yes, it felt like loss. Yes, it looked like everything was falling apart. But I was not tearing you down to leave you in ruins. I was tearing down the old so I could build the new. And what I am building in you now cannot be shaken. It cannot be stolen. It cannot be destroyed, because it is not built on you. It is built on me. Your identity is no longer rooted in what people think of you. It is rooted in what I say about you. Your security is no longer dependent on circumstances. It is dependent on my faithfulness. Your worth is no longer measured by performance. It is measured by my love. Your future is no longer in your hands. It is in mine. This is what I mean when I say your breaking was your becoming. You are not who you were before. You are not even who you thought you wanted to be. You are who I am making you. And what I am making you is someone who cannot be broken by the things that used to break you. Not because you are harder, not because you are colder, not because you are more defended, but because you are finally standing on the right foundation. And here is what that means practically. It means that when betrayal comes again, and it will, you will not be destroyed. You will hurt, you will grieve. But you will not be destroyed, because your worth is not tied to whether people stay or go. It means that when loss comes again, and it will, you will not collapse. You will feel the weight. You will walk through the pain, but you will not collapse, because your security is not tied to what you have or do not have. It means that when failure comes again, and it will, you will not give up. You will learn, you will grow, but you will not give up. Because your identity is not tied to success or failure. You are being rebuilt in such a way that the things that used to shatter you can no longer reach the core of who you are. Not because you are numb, not because you do not care, but because the core of who you are is no longer exposed to the elements. It is hidden in me, and what is hidden in me cannot be touched by anything in this world. This is the becoming I am talking about. You are becoming someone who can walk through fire and not be burned. Not because the fire is not hot, but because I am with you in the fire. You are becoming someone who can stand in the storm and not be moved, not because the storm is not fierce, but because you are anchored to something that cannot be moved. You are becoming someone who can face loss and still have joy, not because the loss does not hurt, but because your joy is not dependent on what you have. It is dependent on who you have, and you have me. So when you look back at the moments you broke, do not see them as your lowest points. See them as your turning points. See them as the moments when I could finally get your attention. See them as the moments when you finally stopped trying to do it on your own and you let me in. See them as the moments when the old you died and the new you began to emerge. Because that is what they were. They were not endings. They were beginnings. And if you are in a moment of breaking right now, if you are in the middle of the demolition, if it feels like everything is falling apart, hear me when I say this. I am not destroying you. I am rebuilding you. Trust the process. Trust the builder. Trust that what feels like loss is actually preparation for gain. What feels like death is actually preparation for resurrection. What feels like the end is actually just the beginning. Now, let me address something that has been controlling you for far too long. Fear. Fear is the liar. Faith is the truth teller. You have been listening to fear for so long that you think it is wisdom. You think it is protecting you. You think it is preparing you. But fear is not your guide. Fear is your captor. It tells you that you are fragile, so you hide. It tells you that you will be hurt again, so you close your heart. It tells you that you cannot trust, so you control. It tells you that you are alone, so you isolate. And every lie fear whispers, you believe, because it feels true. But feelings are not facts, and fear is not prophecy. Faith is not the absence of fear. Faith is the refusal to let fear lead. Faith says, I am afraid, but I will trust. Faith says, I have been hurt, but I will love again. Faith says, I do not see the way, but I will follow. Faith says, I feel weak, but I know who holds me. You think fear is keeping you safe, but fear is keeping you small. And I did not call you to smallness. I called you to abundance, to courage, to life. So stop consulting fear. Start listening to me. Here is what fear does. Fear takes your past pain and projects it onto your future. Fear says, it happened before, so it will happen again. You were betrayed before, so you will be betrayed again. You were abandoned before, so you will be abandoned again. You were hurt before, so you will be hurt again. And because fear is so convincing, you start living as if the future has already been written. You start making decisions based on what might happen instead of what is true right now. You start protecting yourself from pain that has not even occurred yet. And in doing so, you close yourself off from love, from connection, from possibility, from life. But I am telling you, your past does not dictate your future. What happened before does not have to happen again. And even if it does, even if you are hurt again, even if you are betrayed again, even if you face loss again, it will not destroy you, because you are not who you were before. You are no longer standing on the same foundation. You are no longer drawing from the same source. You are no longer alone in the way you were before. I am with you now, and that changes everything. So stop letting fear write the story. Stop letting fear make the decisions. Stop letting fear close the doors that I am trying to open. Fear will always tell you to play it safe, to stay small, to avoid risk, to protect yourself. But I am telling you, the safest place you can be is in my will. And my will for you is not safety in the way the world defines it. My will for you is abundant life, bold faith, radical trust, deep love. And yes, that means you will be vulnerable. Yes, that means you might get hurt. But it also means you will be alive, truly alive, fully alive, and that is worth the risk. Because here is the truth fear does not want you to know. You have already survived the worst thing you thought you could not survive. You have already walked through the pain you were sure would destroy you. You have already endured the loss you believed would end you. And you are still here. You are still standing. You are still breathing. You are still fighting. That means fear is a liar. Fear said it would destroy you, and it did not. Fear said you could not survive, and you did. Fear said you would not make it, and here you are. So why are you still listening? Why are you still letting fear dictate your choices? Why are you still giving fear authority over your life? Fear has been wrong about you every single time, and it will continue to be wrong, because fear does not know what I know. Fear does not see what I see. Fear does not have access to what I have planned. Fear only sees the past. I see the future. Fear only sees the problem. I see the solution. Fear only sees the breaking. I see the becoming. So I am asking you to make a choice. Will you listen to fear, or will you listen to me? Will you let fear keep you small, or will you let me make you bold? Will you let fear close your heart, or will you let me open it? Will you let fear write your story, or will you trust me to write it? This is the choice in front of you. And I am not going to force you. I am not going to override your will. I am simply going to stand here and invite you. Invite you to step out of fear and into faith. Invite you to stop hiding and start living. Invite you to stop protecting and start trusting. Invite you to stop surviving and start thriving. Because you were not made for survival mode. You were made for abundant life. You were not made to just get by. You were made to flourish. You were not made to play defense. You were made to advance the kingdom, and none of that happens in fear. All of that happens in faith. So let me give you some very practical ways to walk this out, because I know that what I am saying sounds good, but you are wondering, how do I actually do this? How do I stop being afraid? How do I start trusting? How do I live this way? First, every morning, before you check your phone, before you rehearse your fears, before you make your plans, speak this truth aloud. Lord, I am yours. My life is not my own. My strength is not my own. My future is not my own. I place today into your hands. I release control. I trust your timing. I believe your promises. And I choose to walk in faith, not fear. This is not a formula. This is a posture. You are teaching your soul to remember. You are held. You are reminding yourself before the world gets loud, before the fear gets strong, before the day gets hard, that you belong to me. That you are not alone, that you are not in control, and that is actually good news, because the one who is in control loves you, and he is faithful, and he has never failed. Second, every time a thought of fear, shame, or inadequacy rises, stop and ask, who says, I am not enough? Who says, I will be abandoned again? Who says, I am too broken to be loved? Who says, if the answer is not me, reject it, cast it down, refuse to give it authority? My voice brings life, every other voice brings death. Learn to recognize the difference. You see, most of the thoughts running through your mind are not even your thoughts. They are echoes, echoes of past wounds, echoes of other people's judgments, echoes of the enemy's accusations, echoes of a world that does not know you and cannot see you. And you have been treating these echoes as if they are truth. But they are not truth. They are noise. And you do not have to listen to noise. So when the thought comes, when the accusation rises, when the fear whispers, stop, interrupt it, challenge it. Who says, and if it is not my voice, if it does not sound like love, if it does not align with what I have said about you in my word, then reject it. You have authority over your thought life. You do not have to entertain every thought that knocks on the door of your mind. You get to decide what you let in. So be ruthless, be vigilant, be protective, because what you allow in your mind will shape your life. Third, write your resurrection list. Take a piece of paper. Write down every time you thought you would not survive and yet you did. Every betrayal you endured, every loss you walked through, every moment you wanted to give up but you kept going. This is your testimony. This is your proof. You have already survived what you thought would break you. And if I brought you through that, I will bring you through this. You see, fear wants you to forget. Fear wants you to live as if every new challenge is your first challenge, as if you have no history of my faithfulness, as if you have no track record of my provision. But you do. You have a testimony. You have evidence. You have proof. I have been with you every step of the way. I have never let you fall beyond where I could catch you. I have never allowed you to face more than you could bear with my help. I have been faithful, and I will continue to be faithful. So write it down. Remind yourself. Look back at the list when fear says you will not make it. Look back at the evidence when doubt says, I have abandoned you. Look back at the testimony when anxiety says this time will be different. Because it will not be different. I will be the same. I will be with you. I will bring you through, just like I always have. Fourth, speak truth to your reflection. Stand before a mirror, look yourself in the eyes, and speak these words. I am not broken. I am beloved. I am not weak. I am held. I am not alone. I am never alone. I am not my past. I am my Father's child, and nothing, no person, no failure, no loss can separate me from His love. Do this every day until you believe it, because it is true whether you feel it or not. Your feelings will lie to you. Your emotions will betray you. Your thoughts will accuse you. But truth does not change based on how you feel. Truth is truth, and the truth is, you are mine. You are loved. You are chosen. You are held. And nothing can change that. When anxiety rises, when fear screams, when the future feels uncertain, do not run, do not fight, do not fix. Instead, sit in stillness, place your hand over your heart, and breathe this truth. I am safe, not because nothing can hurt me, but because I am held by the one who cannot be shaken. This is not passivity, this is trust, and trust is the strongest weapon you have, because when you rest in the storm, when you remain still when everything around you is chaos, you are declaring, I am not moved by what I see. I am anchored to what I know. I know who you are. I know what you have promised. I know that you are faithful. And I am choosing to trust you more than I trust my fear. This is what it looks like to be unbreakable. It is not that you do not feel fear. It is that you do not let fear make the decisions. It is not that you are not affected by pain. It is that pain does not get to define you. It is not that you do not face storms. It is that the storm does not determine your stability, because your stability is not based on external circumstances. Your stability is based on internal truth. And the truth is, I am holding you, and I will never let you go. So let me bring this full circle. Let me leave you with this. You came here tonight believing you were fragile, that one more blow would be the one you could not survive, that the cracks in your life meant you were damaged, disqualified, or beyond repair. But I have shown you the truth. You were never breakable in the way you thought you were. Yes, you have been hurt. Yes, you have fallen. Yes, you have felt the weight of betrayal, loss, and fear. But none of it has the power to destroy what I have placed inside you. You are not held together by your strength. You are held together by mine. You are not defined by what has happened to you. You are defined by whose you are. You are not surviving on your own. You are carried by the one who does not grow weary, and that means no person, no circumstance, no failure, no storm can break you, because you are mine, and what is mine is eternal. So say this with me now, out loud if you can. I am not broken. I am becoming. I am not weak. I am held. I am not alone. I am loved. I am not my past. I am his future. And nothing and nobody will ever break me again, because I am held by the unbreakable one. If this truth stirred something in you tonight, if you felt seen, if you felt known, leave a comment. Tell me what shifted. Tell me what you needed to hear, because I am speaking to you, and I want you to know. I see you. I am with you.